Hello everyone, welcome back to Rune Reading Wednesday at the Amber Serpent. My name is Gulveg. So it is 2018. Happy New Year's everyone. Let's take a look and see what this first week of 2018 has in store for us. We just had a full moon last night in Cancer, and we're now out of Mercury retrograde as well. So hip hip hooray! Things feel like, at least for me, they feel like they're moving. So, but let's see what the runes have to say, shall we? All right. So as always, we always set the intention of giving us a message, the message that would serve our best and highest good at this time, for us to know for the next week. So what do we need to know the most for the next week? And blow the intention into the runes. We have rune number 1, number 2, and number 3. So I'll give you a closer look at the runes here because I know that some folks pick them kind of based on what they look like. So we have rune number 1. They're all the same stone. They're all bloodstone. Number 2. And number 3. Okay, so for those of us who may be new to Rune Reading Wednesday, you either pick 1, 2, or 3, maybe all 3 runes, and if you're going to pick all 3, sometimes it's helpful to, in your mind's eye, determine which one, like what the priority is. So if number 2 was the one that you're feeling most drawn to, followed by 1 and 3, so on and so forth. That kind of helps you know which part of the reading or which energies are most pertinent to you for this week. All right, so let's take a look. Number 1, we have Othala, family, inheritance, things of that nature. Then we have number 2, which is Urus, physical vitality, power, drawing down celestial inspiration and manifesting it. And then number 3, Kenas, the torch. Okay, so for those of us who are most drawn to number 1, this one has a lot to do with, like I said, family, inheritance, and this isn't just like wealth kind of inheritance. This is also has to do with what we inherit as far as our DNA. Also, we can inherit personality traits, ways of being, habits, things of that nature. And it may not necessarily have to do with our blood ancestry either. It may also have to do with our spiritual ancestry. So spiritual ancestry has to do with folks who have walked a similar life path as us from the past. So for example, healers, if you're a healer or in the healing profession, you would have a lineage of other healers who have done similar work that you could call on and consider to be a spiritual ancestor. There's also ancestry of land. Here in the Southwest, our ancestry is mainly focused primarily on Native Americans because they were the ancestors of this land long before Europeans came into the United States. So there's different types of ancestry, so just kind of keep that in mind. And then we have Urus, which is the aurochs. This is the primal, it's a primal ancestor to the bison or cow. And this a lot has to do with physical vitality first and foremost, also personal power. And it also, if you take a look at the shape of it, the back of it looks like the hind haunches of the cow or ox, and then you have the body, and then you have the horns that are pointing down towards the earth. And so this also becomes a symbol of bringing down celestial inspiration, ideas, things that maybe perhaps like are like an aha moment, and channeling that energy to actually bring it into fruition here in our physical world. And that ties in actually very interestingly to the torch, Kenas. The torch it has a variety of different symbols. One is illumination, obviously spreading light in areas of darkness, and also it has a lot to do with passion and desire. And from this here, that is what I would say this is more probably kind of leaning towards. The reason why I say that is because you have the aspect of Urus, which has to do with bringing down ideas and actually making something physical out of them. But what drives those ideas? We all have ideas all the time. We have thoughts going through our heads all the time, all day. So what constitutes which ideas actually are important enough to take action, and which ones just kind of, get filtered through? It's passion, it's desire. The ideas that light our fire up, the ideas that illuminate our intellect, that make us go, oh, make us pause. Those are the ones that typically are the ideas that deserve our energy. And what is going to be inspiring this is going to be perhaps drawn from our roots. So what have we inherited? And this may also have to do with life situations. That's kind of the hit I'm getting right now. That this may also play a part in what it is that we're dealing with right now, challenges. So it could be something genetic. It could be that we're working through personality traits, or maybe our New Year's resolution is to give up certain bad habits that don't really serve us. Whatever it may be, we may have inherited something consciously, or maybe even unconsciously, that has put us in a particular situation where we're ready to make a change. And this is like the perfect time of year for that kind of thing, right? And also in making that change too, it's really important to be aware of our physical vitality, which is what the aurochs or the urus reminds us of. Also too, this may also for some of us have to do with physical traits that we have inherited, such as genetics, or a predisposition to not digesting certain foods well, certain allergies or genetic things of that nature. So this might be a really good time to be assessing our health, physical, mental, emotional health, and to ask for divine guidance as to what changes are going to promise the biggest results. And the way that we're going to decipher that is going to be what ideas are going to light our fire the most. Now, something to also be aware of with passion too in relation to aurochs is that the torch or fire, it can cook your food. It can light, darkness up, so that we don't feel lost in the woods, or it can burn down the forest. So as we are searching to make changes, as we are assessing what it is that we have consciously and unconsciously inherited, taken on as our own, and to decide whether or not there are certain things that we're ready to let go of, and allow our passions and our desires and what lights us up to inform us as to what deserves our action and what deserves our energy. It's also very important as well not to be consumed by that fire of passion. It can, if we're trying to balance out our life, sometimes, for example, if we know that we have completely fallen off the wagon as far as health goes, it sometimes can be very for example, very easy to go the opposite way, and it's like all or nothing. But a lot of times having a little bit of balance there, mitigating that a little bit so that it is more of a sustainable change, ends up being more beneficial in the long run than trying to like do everything all at once. So, be cognizant of our passions, be cognizant of our desires, and approach those desires in a way that is sustainable, long lasting, and is something that isn't going to wear us physically out, that we can actually sustain over the long term. So that is our Rune Reading Wednesday for the very first one in 2018. Thank you so much for joining me today. I will be at Fantasia Crystals it's in Phoenix, Arizona, on January 14th. Giving 15-minute room readings. So if you're in the Phoenix area, I'd love to see you down there. It's from noon to 5. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you back here next week, and we can take a look and see what our next step is for January of 2018. Have a good one. Thanks. Bye-bye.